Fiction Fairy, and today I'm bringing you my Booktube-A-Thon TBR. I am so excited to participate in this. I've never participated in the Booktube-A-Thon before, and the challenges just seem really exciting. I don't quite remember the dates that the Booktube-A-Thon is happening, but I believe it's around the 16th of July. I will put the dates of the Booktube-A-Thon in the box below so you guys can look at that. I will also link Ariel Bassett's channel because it's Ariel Bassett who is hosting the Booktube-A-Thon, and I will also link the Booktube-A-Thon channel itself because that's where you'll find any update videos about the Booktube-A-Thon, any of the challenges for the Booktube-A-Thon, any of the daily video challenges for the Booktube-A-Thon, and any other general Booktube-A-Thon information that you need to know. So when I was going through my bookshelves to pick out different books for the Booktube-A-Thon, I was like, wow, I'm really picking out some books I probably would not have generally picked if I'd been able to just choose whatever books that I wanted to read. So I was really excited for these challenges because it really is kind of opening me up to kind of read some of the books that I have had on my shelf for quite a bit of time. So one of the first challenges that you have to do is you have to choose a book with pictures. Now the book I chose for that is Sanctum by Madeleine Ruse, and I was going to just start reading this book the other day, and I got about 5 or 6 pages in, and then I saw the Booktube-A-Thon challenges, and I said, you know what, I'm going to hold off on reading this, and I'm going to do it for the Booktube-A-Thon. And the reason why I chose this is because A, I cannot wait to read this, because this is the sequel to Asylum, and I really loved Asylum, but I also can't wait to read it because it has very interesting pictures inside of the book, just like the first book Asylum did. It's very interesting, and I was like, what a better way to read a book that I really want to read and do one of the challenges than to read this book. So this is my first book, Sanctum, and this is for reading a book with pictures. Now the next challenge is to start and finish a series. Now anybody who knows me knows that that is probably one of the hardest things for me to do. I'm fantastic at reading the first book in series, but as far as going through and finishing it, I'm not so good at that. I'm not so good with the whole commitment thing. So I said, you know what? I just got Ashes for Ashes by Siobhan Vivian and Jenny Hannon, and I got that book for review, and I said, you know, I have the first 2 in the series, why don't I go ahead and start that series and try to finish it for the Booktube-A-Thon. So the books I chose for the Start and Finish a Series challenge is Burn for Burn by Siobhan Vivian and Jenny Han, Fire with Fire by Siobhan Vivian and Jenny Han, and the review book I got in, which is Ashes to Ashes by Siobhan Vivian and Jenny Han, and this is the 3rd and final book in the trilogy. So they're a little bit of hefty books, but I'm hoping that they'll just be so fantastic that I'll be able to start and finish them and add another series to my very short collection of series I've actually finished. So the third challenge is to read a book that has the color red on the cover. And I realized I don't really have a lot of books that necessarily have the cover red on the cover, but one of the books that I do have that I was able to find was Reboot by Amy Santero, and I've never read this book before, but I was like, you know what, I really want to go ahead and read it. What a better way to read it than to read it for the challenges. It has nothing but red on the cover. Everybody who's read this book says that this is absolutely fantastic, so I said, you know what, I'm definitely going to do it. I'm going to see what all the hype is about, and it satisfies one of the challenges. So for my book that has red on it is going to be Reboot by Amy Santero. The next challenge is a book that somebody else picked out for you. And usually I don't like to read books that other people pick out for me because sometimes you don't have the same general taste as them, even if it's a book from your shelf. Sometimes the reason why you haven't read it yet is because it hasn't really pulled at you, so I was kind of shaky about that. But my sister picked a book out for me, and she also has this same book at home, so she is going to be reading it too, not for part of the challenge, but just for general reading purposes. So the book she picked out for me was Wentworth Hall, and this is by Lily Graham, and this book just looks really interesting. I bought it because I don't know, Wentworth Hall just sounds very kind of Britishy, very gossip girly, just it intrigued me, it interested me, and I just kind of wanted to know what the little secrets about Wentworth Hall were. So she chose this book for me to read, and I'm really, really hoping that this is fantastic. If anything, this will be another book read on my shelf, so I'm excited to get into it, because I think I've had this book maybe for around 2 years, so finally it is going to get read. The next book that I chose was for the challenge. You got to pick a book from a genre that you have not read a lot this year. And most people who know me know that contemporary is probably the least genre that I read. Contemporaries for me are hit or miss. They're either good or they're bad. There's no like in between for me, and so I tend not to buy too many of them or tend not to pick too many of them up. However, I said, you know what, I really want to do this challenge because I do want to find more contemporary books out there that I really like, that I really enjoy, and I can really connect with. So the book that I chose for this challenge was Second Skin, and this is by Jessica Woolman, and this is a contemporary book. Says appearances can be deceiving, and it's about a girl, high school, living some sort of a double life. Secrets come out, chaos ensues. Of all the contemporary books I read, I do tend to really like books that are set in high school. I don't know if it's because it just resonates, I guess, with most people. Whether high school is a good time for you or a bad time for you, it's something that we all kind of have in connection with each other. So I am excited to read this book. It has a cheerleader on the cover, and although I was a dancer and not a cheerleader, I am still excited to find out what exactly the secrets are that are going on in this, what rumors may be started, and what kind of chaos is going to ensue with this contemporary book. So the last book for the challenges was to read a book that was a book to movie adaptation or a book to TV adaptation, and I didn't really have so many of those on my shelf, but the one that I did have was one that I have already read and I have already watched, but I have no problem with rereading it and rewatching it again, and that is Catching Fire by Suzanne Collins. Of all 3 books of The Hunger Games, this was my absolute favorite book, and so far it has been my absolute favorite movie in the trilogy. The movie, I absolutely adored it. I thought it was done fantastically. It stayed, to me, really true to the book and the emotions, and I loved when I was reading the book. It just was heart-pounding, and I just absolutely loved and adored it. So I'm going to reread Catching Fire, and then I'm going to rewatch Catching Fire for my book to movie or book to TV adaptation. And then the absolute last and final challenge is to read a total of 7 books, or I believe an average of 300 pages per day. And so I have my first book, I have my second book, I have my third book, I have my fourth book, my fifth book, my sixth book, my seventh book, and just for good measure, my 8th book. So we will see how this goes, because that is quite a lot of books for a week. But hey, we're going to give it a shot, right? We're going to see how many challenges we can complete, and I may even be doing some of the daily video challenges, so keep a lookout for that in case I do any of them. If any of you guys are doing the Booktube-A-Thon challenges, let me know in the comment box below. Let me know if you have your TBR up so I can come by and check it out. Let me know if you've read any of these books, if you want to read any of these books. If you're only participating in some of the challenges, let me know, and let's just have a discussion about it, and let's just have a fantastically good time doing this. So thank you so much, guys, for coming past the Fiction Fairy and watching my Booktube-A-Thon TBR.